Welcome to Ramble City.
Blake Dantier is here. We're about to talk about his new record. Blake, thanks for being on Ramble City. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
So, listening to the record again this morning, and can I just say I really, really enjoy it. I'm not going to blow too much about what I want to say later, but there's one song in particular that I was like, oh man, when I first heard it, I was like, God, I wish I wrote this song. And that's always the nicest thing a songwriter can say. You know, it's like, damn, that's a good one. I wish that was mine. But I wanted to sort of say this feels like a great album to drink to. This feels to me like it's the ultimate drinking album. It feels like something that should be playing when you go into honky tonks in Nashville, and it should just be there on the jukebox, and everyone is just, you know, chinking glasses and sort of smiling at each other. Was this planned? How did you come to be the king of drinking songs?
It certainly wasn't planned, but there was a point where I kind of said to myself, I have to stop writing so many drinking songs because I've got too many. I gotta consciously ease off, no more. You know.
But as a songwriter, was it like, you know, we're going to talk about your story in a sec, but was it just something that was fascinating to you about writing that type of song? I mean, they're great songs, like party drinking songs. They're some of my favorite songs. You know, that's why I'm so excited to talk about it today. But was it a fascation that you had, or did you just find that you just kind of knew how to write a good drinking song?
Yeah, I think it's mostly
Mix of column A and column B.
Yeah, well, I did not think about it too much. They just came out that way.
Okay, so tell us. So, I mean, I was thinking about as a songwriter, I like sort of asking everybody's kind of story, and I read here from the stuff that was sent through that you started your first band when you were 13 with your older brother, and you guys were playing kind of not country music. You were playing something totally different.
We were big AC/DC fans, so
right.
I mean, that was kind of what got us into music in the first place.
And into drinking songs.
Yeah. I mean, AC/DC doesn't have into drinking songs, and we certainly were only drinking red cordial at that time.
Of course you were.
But we would just jam for hours in my bedroom. Like, I got a drum kit for my 12th birthday. Don't know why my parents were willing to get me that sort of gift, seeing as it probably tormented them for many hours, but we had a lot of fun, and it just kept getting heavier and heavier.
All time, do something else. Mom, I don't know how to do anything else. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do cat do cat do cat do cat do. Is that how it went?
We probably sucked too. Like, we were probably worse than that. Which,
damn.
It's hard to listen to that kind of stuff.
So when did you find country music then? So when was it for you that you kind of found your love of that? If you didn't even start in that world, you must have started, you know, in AC/DC, glam rock, you know, British heavy metal. When did you find your love of country?
Well, I think my brother, he went further down that path of metal. And I got to the point where I was like, you've gone too far, man. Like, I'm not, not into this stuff anymore. But
he's coming home in like full face makeup, you know, with the kiss tongue. He's like, hey, how was school? You're like, this may be a step too far for where I'm wanting to go with my music. And that's when you veered away from him. You said you're on your own.
Yeah, that stuff's for you, man. But I'm going to figure out what else is out there. And I just started listening to stuff that was on the radio. Like, obviously still being young, I didn't drive, so I didn't listen to a lot of radio. But I did hear it every now and then. And my dad was a DJ in the 80s, so he had like quite a CD collection. So I kind of just started working my way through that, because it's like, I don't know any of this stuff. So let's see what he's got. And eventually,
what were some of the albums?
Well, there was Faith Hill was one of them. Faith Hill's album Cry, and Shania Twain's album Come On Over, which is
great album,
the big one. Yeah. And when I heard those, I was like,
and
whoa.
So did you only write songs for strong female protagonists for a number of years?
I think that's what I still do. I don't know how I managed to get some songs out for myself, really.
Well, you made them drinking songs, I guess. So then one of the things that I really got from this record and why I wanted to talk to you too is that, it feels like there is a sense of, and I'm going to pick my words carefully here because I don't want to sort of seem like I'm trying to be too hoity-toity, but there's a certain authenticity to the sound that it feels like you were going for in terms of like, it feels like you're opening the door and the guys are just playing. And to me, that kind of had that kind of magic of it was, it was just kind of real, and you were trying to make a certain type of country that may not kind of be everywhere nowadays. Is that a
Yeah,
fair thing to say?
100%. Like, going back to that Faith Hill Shania Twain stuff, it's at that time anyway, for Faith Hill and Shania Twain, they were pretty pop. And I feel like ever since that time in country music, late 90s to now, it's been just going further and further towards pop music.
Yeah.
And I like that music. Obviously, that's what got me into country music in the first place.
Yeah.
But when I started listening to more and more country music, I found the older stuff, and I really started to resonate with the more old school sound that was, a little rougher around the edges, had more pedal steel guitar and fiddle solos and stuff. And I just thought, we need more of this. Like, there's not enough of that country music today.
So how do you go about then putting together the collection of songs that you were going to put on a record? And were you co-writing with, because we're going to talk about one of your co-writes later that's on our list that we've got for the next block, but were you already co-writing with people and that was kind of what you did, or were you working towards these songs, or do they both kind of run along the same train track?
Yeah, I was going lone wolf style into this album.
Yep.
Not because I don't like other people, although it is difficult sometimes for me to give up control in a
Fair. That's
co-write.
fair. Yeah.
But I just didn't really know that many people, and so as a result, there's only one co-write on the album.
Yeah.
But I think I've had so much time because this is the debut album.
Yeah.
Probably the songs date back maybe 5 years now. So
Yeah.
it's just been so long that I've sort of been compiling them. There was no real thought process to it. There was just, let's just write songs. And then at the end, it was sort of like there was 30 songs, and I whittled it down to 11 that I thought were actually good. And thought, all right, these ones will go on.
It's making records, the magic. Yeah, it's like, I've got 30 songs, and 10 of them are worth listening to. 11 in your case, and it's like, there you go, here they are.
Yeah,
the album's out. One more question before we go to the break. When did you decide that? I think it'd be so interesting as songs that, some of the tracks on the album, Last Call, which is obviously, you're in a bar and someone's like, last drinks, Wish You Were My Beer, which is a great name for a song. You Don't Mix Whiskey, which is the song that I wish I'd wrote. I think that's just a cracker of a song, man. And at what point when you were putting these songs together, or when you were collating them over, as you said, over a number of years, did you go, there's a lot of drinking songs here? And when did you lean into it? Or was it just kind of a happy mistake that kind of gave it a cohesion and it made it feel like a record? Because it feels like a record. You know what I mean? It's a record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think happy mistake is probably the way to put it. Because
right.
I didn't realize until we were recording all the songs and we were kind of looking back at it, and I was like, oh, like half these songs are about drinking. It was actually to the point where Last Call, I was listening to CMT one day, the country music channel, and a Brad Paisley song came on, and the melody in his song, I was like, wait a second, that's exactly like the song I've put on the album. I realized, and I knew this song, so I was like, I ripped this song off. So I had to rewrite this song. We'd already tracked it all. It was just this one particular part in the chorus, so I just had to change the melody there.
Yeah.
But then when I was looking back, I was like, well, Last Call is like one of a million drinking songs on the album. And it's also, at the time, it was a drinking song, more like Wish You Were My Beer, where it's a sad drinking song, it's drinking to try and get over somebody.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, well, they're kind of exactly the same song. Maybe this is actually a good opportunity for me to rewrite Last Call with a different spin on it. I think with the title Last Call, there's no way it wasn't going to be a drinking song.
No, but it's such a great opener to what feels like part of the experience of the record. It's kind of like step into this world of step into this honky tonk in Nashville. To me, it felt like the door opener, and it sort of welcomes you into the world. It's awesome. I really enjoyed it. That was great.
Oh.
All right, let's take a quick break and let's come back and we're going to go through a list of, well, you'll have to keep listening. We'll tell you in a sec. We'll be right back. Blake Dantier is here, and we're about to talk through our top 5 Australian drinking songs. He's inspired them with this new album, and there's a couple of caveats we have, all right? The first one is that we can't put in our own songs that we've released ourselves. So even though I wanted to put You Don't Mix Whiskey on it, we can't because it feels too
Fair
obvious.
enough.
I've got a song on my debut album that's coming out, which is One More for the Road, which James Morrison, jazz trumpeter, plays on. It's a pure drinking song. It's just like, let's drink in this pub and, it's like a calypso-y kind of thing. That's not on the list. I can't put that on the list. I'm not allowed. I'm legally not allowed to put that on this list. The second caveat, well, I mean, co-writes are fine. You're allowed to do co-writes. I think that's fair. You know what I mean? So that's why we've got one here that we'll talk about, which is coming up. The second caveat is they have to be about drinking. They have to be about someone talking about drinking or holding something that's to do with drinking. It can't just be a song that is kind of about drinking, if you know what I mean. Like, it can't just be a party song. They have to reference some amount of alcohol. Now, we should say at this point, please drink responsibly and please be sensible. And if you're putting on these songs, make sure it's Blake's. That's it. That's all we're going to say. All right. So let's go to number 1. Blake, when I asked you to do this, what did you think? I sent it to you really late, like this morning before we chatted. Don't give away what songs are there, but what did you think when I wanted to talk about drinking songs? What kind of came to your mind?
Well, the thing that got me first actually was that you asked for Australian drinking songs. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was thinking about all these American songs, but I knew, when I started looking into it, I was like, actually, I don't know any off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like, I don't know why I wanted to do Australian drinking songs. I think it's because there are so many great drinking songs that I felt like we had to give it some kind of umbrella. Otherwise, we would have been here all day. Like, I think that was partly why I did it. And I mean, we're Aussies. I mean, maybe that's why. All right, so let's go to number 1. I'm going to play it first, and then you can tell us what this is. Let's have a listen. Let's see if everyone recognizes this song. It doesn't matter who you're with. You're just like, I am a bad MF. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like a bad man listening to this song. So tell us who this is and why you picked it.
It's AC/DC, you know, which any AC/DC fan should have been able to pick that up because I think they've sounded like that. Well, this was from Back in Black in 1980, and I think they still sound like that now. So
they know how to write, to make songs in their lane, right? It's like, it feels just like them. It was their 7th studio album. One of the interesting facts I saw about this is that, so what do you think the story of the song is about? Because I didn't know this one too well, I got to be honest. This is one of the ones that I had to listen to. I know, obviously, AC/DC, but I know. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed, but this is a safe space. I'm admitting to everyone now that I'm a bad Australian. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But why did you pick this? Like, what was it about this song makes you think this?
Yeah, no shame for not knowing, man, because I don't know what they're talking about either.
All right. Well, okay. Let me ask you this. What do you think they're talking about?
They're definitely talking about drinking.
Okay, good. That. 1 point.
Well,
let me tell you this. This is I research, right? I do my work, and I found out. So Back in Black, obviously from 1980s, you said, was the first album to come out after, of course, after Bon Scott died, and they brought in Brian Johnson, right? So they've swapped lead singers, and Bon Scott is well documented and renowned for enjoying a few quiet beverages and party nights, and this song, well, I believe, is about a guy trying to buy his buddy a drink, and so it's kind of. And it's on the first album that comes out after after he's passed. So it's an interesting kind of song to appear on this record, given of just what's kind of happened, isn't it? And of course, it's not like AC/DC is going to put out like a song that's like acoustic guitars and it's like Stairway to Heaven, and it's like and she's buying a stairway. It's like it's not going to happen. So they had to kind of put it in their style. But I wonder if, in a way, this is kind of an ode to him. I don't know. It's an interesting choice.
I can't recall if I'm actually correct about this, but I think they had already written a bunch of these before he actually passed away. So it was sort of like they were ready to go with this album, but then obviously when your lead singer dies, it kind of puts
you do have two choices,
big
don't you?
spanner in the works.
It does complicate things slightly. Well, yeah, and what a great legacy obviously Bon Scott has for the band, and obviously we're all fans of AC/DC, so all respect to that. But what a great choice. That's definitely for me too. I think that has to be there in the top 5. Let us know if you agree or disagree. Maybe you think that this should not be in the list. Let us know. But before that, let's get to number 2. This was one of my picks. You have to make sure you really listen to this song properly, because it does seem a little rude if you don't know what they're talking about. So here we go. This is Mental as Anything. The Nips are getting bigger. So the thing about this one for me, and why I sort of love it, is I don't remember when or how I discovered this song. And it's one of those songs that a lot of people don't know. And people that know Mental as Anything and know their work are sort of like, how can you not know this song? How can you not know this song? It wasn't a huge hit. I mean, it was like number 16. Came out the year before the last song, and was their debut single. And did you know this song at all? Did you know it at all?
I didn't know this song. I knew of this song because when me and my brother were in a band, we did a lot of classic rock covers, and my uncle was always like, you got to do this, you got to do that. This was one of them.
He was requesting you to play The Nips Are Getting Bigger.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? This is one of those songs. And it kind of fits the criteria because it's about a night on the town. So the lead singer, Martin Plaza, who wrote the song, it seems the story of the song is that he's trying to forget some letter he's been given. So he's like, later there's a lyric where he's like, believe me when I tell you it's nothing to do with the letter. But he's just continually drinking more. He starts with beer, he goes to rum, and he's questioning how the chemicals are messing with his brain. And it's just like, whoa, the nips are getting bigger, he's getting more drunk and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of, he even quotes, wiping out brain cells by the millions, but I don't care. It doesn't worry me, even though I ain't got a lot to spare. That's a pretty great lyric, right?
Sounds like he's in a tough spot.
he sounds. It's definitely not about the letter. It's definitely not about the letter. Okay. All right. Let's go to number 3. This is one of yours.
Nobody wants to do shots anymore. Get wasted on the living room floor. Since we quit those drinking games, tequila don't taste the same.
Nobody wants to do shots anymore. Tell us all about this one, Blake.
Yeah, well, the singer of this song, Cass Hopton, is actually my fiance.
Here we go. Caveat number 3.
I've got a loophole.
Worth it. Great song. So how did you come to meet and co-write this song? No, I'm kidding. So how did you guys come up with the song then? Who came up with the idea and who sort of brought it to the other one?
It was Cass's idea because I think we just had this night where, we're hanging out with friends, and then Cass is like, wants to get rowdy, do some shots, and everyone's like, oh, no, we're too old for shots now.
So the song is about, here's kind of the final kind of, chorus or whatever before it sort of picks up the very end of the song. The lyrics are, nobody wants to do shots anymore. Pass out in the bathroom floor. Since we quit those drinking games, tequila don't taste the same. It's awesome. I can see, I'm so glad that this came from a real moment in your life where you were kind of there just lining up shots and pouring them out, and then the rest of the group is like, what is happening? We're too old for shots. We don't do shots anymore.
Yeah, and all of these moments are real. I've passed out on the bathroom floor.
We can't say enough. Please drink responsibly. Please drink responsibly.
Completely unrelated to alcohol. Bathroom's
You
a
just
great
passed
place
out
to
on the
sleep.
bathroom floor.
Yep.
That's a good place for us to take a quick break. We're going to come back and do the last two. We'll be right back. All right, so number 2 on this list. This is the only one, Blake, that maybe shouldn't be here. Okay, I'm going to be honest, because I don't know if they completely drink. It just felt like this band had to be on this list. Now, I'm not sure how much of this song I can play legally, whether I'm allowed to get to the hook here, but of course this is Cheap Wine and a 3-Day Book. Oh, I mean Cheap Wine and a 3-Day Growth. Probably the most misunderstood lyric in Australian music history. You knew this one?
Yeah. Interesting that you say it's most misunderstood, because I would like to know what you know about what he's actually singing about.
Well, okay, so let's sort of unpack this real quick. They recorded it in 1 or 2 takes with no demo, and you can really hear that when you listen back. Like, it feels live. You can feel the drummer just kind of like just sort of hanging in. You know, it's like, yep, cool, there it is. There's the fill. Here it is. You can feel it kind of evolving as they're sort of playing, which I really love about it. And I think that's part of why maybe some of the nonsensicalness, if I can say that, or kind of that it doesn't completely make sense, feels so good because it's so live and it's so kind of encapsulated in this one moment of time. So to answer your question, what do I think it's about? If my answer is any sort of example, I don't know. I'm feeling. I think what it is about growing up. Part of me really thought it was about music and having a career in music and kind of the life that you choose in the early days of you're kind of living a certain lifestyle. You're kind of living week to week. You don't know where you're going. Some of your friends are questionable. Some of them are just, you don't have a 9 to 5 kind of life, and you leaving kind of a normal thing behind for cheap wine and not having to work a normal job. You can let your face grow out and you can have a beard in these times because you don't have to go to the bank tomorrow to kind of check in at 9 a.m. That's kind of just what I'm thinking so far. I mean, he's sitting on a beach, drinking rocket fuels, spent the night breaking all the rules, mending every minute of the day before, watching the ocean, watching the shore, watching the sunrise and thinking there could never be more. Anytime you want to find me, I don't have a telephone. I'm another world away, but I always feel at home with my cheap wine and a 3-day growth. Maybe it's just about being like a beach bum.
Yeah, it kind of struck, because I was struggling to figure out, is the cheap wine and the 3-day growth a positive or a negative thing?
Well, that's a really interesting question, Blake. How did you take it?
Well, I thought it was supposed to be a positive thing. He's like, yeah, I got cheap wine and a 3-day growth. Life's great. But like being a beach bum.
Well, I mean, it's definitely celebrating it, isn't it? He's not, I mean, once he smoked a Denim cigar, once I drove a foreign car, baby, that was years ago. And those are kind of like, I mean, if we really dig into like lyrical analysis here, they are kind of like two things that are really kind of big shot kind of things, right? It's like I had a great cigar and I drove a foreign car, like big time.
So why would you leave that behind?
Well, baby, that was years ago. Yeah, I had a friend. I heard she died. On a needle, she was crucified. Well, but that was years ago. I left it all behind. So maybe this guy's running. Maybe
I mean, that's a good thing to leave behind.
Yeah.
You don't want to get caught up in that.
But I don't mind taking charity. Yeah, I don't mind taking charity from those that I despise. Baby, I don't need your love. I don't need your love. Yeah, it kind of feels like more and more it's like someone that stepped away from a life and is happy living in this cocoon of cheap wine and 3-day growth and whatever that represents for them.
I think he knows it's not the best life he could be living, but
Yeah.
it is the right life for him.
Yeah. Wow. I think we've nailed that. And I think we're going to get a call from someone's people very quickly to tell us how right and on the money we are. Great. Okay, awesome. Big tick. Well, there we go. It should be here. That kind of encapsulates a drinking song. Let's go to the very last one to take us home. This had to be on it. This was on both of our lists. And it's just kind of probably the quintessential Australian drinking song, the quintessential Australian artist that sings about, drinking songs.
I love to have a beer with Duncan. I love to have a beer with Duncan. We drink in moderation.
If there was ever a song that kind of like you ask yourself, like you sort of, there must be a turn coming. There must be something coming that kind of changes what this song is, because it can't just be what this is. And this is it. It's like, but that's what makes it so incredible. It's like, it's not trying to be more than what it is. And it makes total sense to all of us because we all have a Duncan that we want to have a drink with. This is, of course, Slim Dusty's Duncan. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's well, the reason I also put this song on the list,
Yeah,
is because my pop used to play this song, and he, like, this is when I would have been like very young,
Yeah.
probably like 5, and then ranging to like 10.
yeah,
When we would go down and visit Nan and Pop, he'd get his guitar out and play some songs. And this is the only one that I remember him playing from that time. But he
Wow.
would just put our names in instead, So I'd love to have a drink with Blake or my brother Cam, whatever,
Yeah.
and find rhymes to go with that. And it's like, part of the cool thing about the song was it just became new every time because you put a new name in it. So like, then you get to do a never, ever, ever you get to think of a new rhyme for that one. It's just sort of like, it doesn't matter that the song never actually goes anywhere else.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Like
great that you can just
on
do
the
same
record.
thing.
Yeah, what a great story. Like on the record, I when I was just doing some research, there was an A and a B side. There was 2 different versions, and I don't know what the other version
Ah.
is, but they were both the exact same time. So it was like 2 minutes 36 side A, side B version 2, 2 minutes and 36. So it was kind of like, and they're not the exact times. You could look at it on Wikipedia, but I'd be interested to kind of, if anyone's got a copy of that, to see what the 2 differences were, whether they were just different names and he just kept going. And eventually the engineer's like, mate, you've run out of studio time. And he's like, oh, wait. I got a couple names left in me. I'd love to have a beer with Felicity. I'd love to have a beer with Flick. It's like, it just never ends.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. One quick thing I found out about this song, I don't have a personal memory for this one. I love that story you just told. But this one that I found, it's written by Pat Alexander in 1976. And apparently he was selling life insurance and spent some time talking and drinking with a prospective customer, the owner of a club of the Town and Country Hotel in New South Wales. Owner was Duncan Urquhart, I think it is. And he failed to make a sale, but realized he was just merely enjoying having a beer with this guy. And that became the song Duncan. And this was the only song that this Pat Alexander, the life insurance salesman, ever had.
Wow.
Crazy.
I mean, it's you just never know with songs because it's such a simple song, but it's just so lovable.
It's so lovable, and it goes to show that, I mean, people love drinking songs, and Blake, I reckon you're onto something with the record, with the songs. You Don't Mix Whiskey, as I said, is a song that I can't wait to grab out the guitar and play when I'm having some whiskeys with some friends. Well done. Congratulations on the record. All the best success with it. Thanks for being here, and can't wait to catch up again soon. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's been so good.
That's it for another week, folks. That's all. Welcome to the end of episode 26 of Ramble City with Blake Dantier as he talks about his debut record, Dry Season. To hear any of the songs we talk about in this episode, visit the show notes. And this episode was brought to you by OFM. It was produced, created, and hosted by me, Bradley McCaw. It was engineered by Kayna Stats, edited by the great K-Leb Aisbett. Original video design was by Adam Shaw at Access Productions, and sound design was by Matt Erskine at Crosspoint Solutions. Thank you so much for listening. Keep smiling, stay safe, and I'll see you next week.
This has been Ramble City, a podcast of conversations with interesting people musing on art, life, and their careers. Created and produced by Old Fashioned Media. To hear more and discover additional material from today's episode, visit ofm.com.